Brian Quinn doing the business today, and he's starting with HSBC Bank, defending itself against accusations that it's helped China crack down on Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement. Brian.
Substitute, but I'll do my best.
Definitely.
Here we are. HSBC under fire from UK lawmakers who accuse it of, quote, aiding and abetting Chinese authorities as they've sought to quash popular resistance to increasingly authoritarian rule in Hong Kong. Well, MPs say the multinational banking giant has taken a political stance on the side of Beijing, appearing to support the introduction of a sweeping new national security law that's made speaking out against mainland rule punishable by harsh prison terms. Last year, it emerged that the bank had also frozen the accounts of a prominent pro-democracy campaigner and his family. HSBC, of course, founded in Hong Kong. The company has deep ties to what is the former British colony and currently Asia's top financial hub. CEO Noel Quinn says his firm is bound by Chinese law. Pulling out is not an option. Here he is.
My motive is 100% about helping the people of Hong Kong recover from the challenges that they face. And I have to work within the legal framework that I'm given in Hong Kong to do that. There is no benefit in me walking away or HSBC walking away from the community of Hong Kong at this point in time. I can't cherry pick what law to follow and what law not to follow. As a CEO of a financial institution,
Speaking of financial hubs, why don't they we take a check on the markets? How are they shaping up today?
Well, sir, European indexes opening in the red, then following Asian markets down as investors digest the latest outlook from the IMF that actually predicts a global economy will be growing by 5.5% in 2021. That's slightly faster than previously expected. London's FTSE 100 down around 0.2%. The CAC currently here in Paris off slightly. That despite LVMH shares rising on strong fourth quarter results. The DAX in Frankfurt down nearly 0.5% at the open.
Let's move to New York for this next story. The city's money managers there are taking a bit of a stand on climate change.
Indeed, New York City officials have announced that two major pension funds for public employees will be divesting roughly $4 billion worth of fossil fuel assets. Mayor Bill de Blasio and Comptroller Scott Stringer announced the move Tuesday with the boards of New York's $91.4 billion city employees retirement system and the separate $77.4 billion teachers retirement system approving the sell-off. De Blasio called it the largest fossil fuel divestment in history. Stringer says its effects will be felt for generations. Here he is.
It's my sincere hope that other municipalities around the country will take note and follow our lead. The divestment from fossil fuels is possible and necessary. Smart investment policy and smart climate solutions go hand in hand. And we are putting our money where our mouth is. And we're doing this for future generations, for our children and for our retirees.
And finally, for business, some good news for apartment hunters here in Paris. The renters, at least. Average rents in the city are actually on the decline, aren't they?
Indeed, they are. Successive lockdowns and the current curfew here in Paris have seen a significant number of Parisians leaving the city for the countryside. One possible knock-on effect for those who are staying, lower rents. Paris authorities, though, are insisting the reduction could be thanks largely to rent controls enacted in 2019. Haxie Myers and our colleagues at France 2 have the story.
Last year, flat hunting in Paris got a bit easier. Rents decreased by an average of 1% in 2020, with some neighbourhoods seeing much sharper reductions, with your average 53 square metre apartment in the 4th arrondissement now 9% less expensive, and a similar property in the 6th almost 7% cheaper. Rent controls were introduced in July 2019, but it seems the move doesn't tell the whole story. Take this furnished apartment, for example. Unoccupied since September.
Il y a bien un lave-linge, un frigo. Normalement, voilà, il y a les couverts, etc.
In a bid to find takers, the owner agreed to reduce the rent, but in vain.
On est passé de 1 390 € à 1 100 €. Et donc c'est vrai que malgré ça, on voit aujourd'hui qu'on n'arrive pas à louer.
Furnished apartments like this are flooding the market, with 67% more listings than 2019. A direct result of the pandemic and the abrupt end to tourism in the city.
La location saisonnière qui finalement connaît une année un peu compliquée, eh bien les propriétaires de ces locations saisonnières se rabattent vers de la location longue durée.
Increased supply plus a drop in demand means lower prices, something city authorities acknowledge, but they also want some of the credit.
Avant l'encadrement des loyers, les loyers explosaient à Paris, donc il y a bien un effet lié à l'encadrement des loyers.
The Paris City Hall wants its rent control programme extended for 3 years.
That seals it, Stuart. I'm going to move just for the heck of it.
Why not? You
Why
may
not?
get something cheaper. Brian, thank you very much. Brian Quinn with Business.